Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Figure 4 podcast. My name is Daniel Marino, and I'm joined, as always, by the man, the myth, and, rumor has it, the legend, Michael Cummings. Mike, how's it going?
The legend. I like that. I'm here. I'm here, man. Yeah, it's been.
You are here.
It's good. It's good. I'm looking forward to the next few weeks and the build up to SummerSlam and the build up to NXT Takeover, which should be better than SummerSlam probably.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, the biggest party of the summer. It's coming soon, man.
I had heard that it was the biggest party of the summer. That was the rumor that was kind of swirling around. So definitely looking forward to that. But you know, we've talked about on the podcast before how the lead up to SummerSlam is one of the best, quite possibly the best part of the year for a wrestling fan, just because there's no focus on, you know, pushing the guys that the true fans don't really want to see get pushed, and more of a focus on like the pure wrestling. Oh wait, what's this? The main event of SummerSlam, I'm just getting this right now, is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
Wow, breaking news right on the podcast just like that, eh?
This is shocking.
You know, Dan, Lesnar Reigns,
It is the most original.
I've never wanted to not see a match happen ever again, as much as this one.
What are you talking? This is what the fans have been begging for. Is you know, Lesnar is this amazing champion that everyone wants to hold the title because him not being on the show makes it so special. And now we have the one guy that you want to get that rub, the one guy that you want to get that push that he so desperately needs in beating Lesnar.
Oh.
And we have him. It's Reigns. It's the big dog.
The ultimate underdog.
The ultimate big dog.
Under big dog.
The biggest dog under of dog.
Anyway, yeah. Listen, man. Hey, listen. I guess you're right, though. Honestly, like, maybe just my TV is a little faulty, the sound, because whenever I see them out there, all I hear are boos, but like maybe they're saying woo, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like a Ric Flair thing, right? I don't know. Maybe I think that's showing some respect.
It's like a deeper woo because he's like a dog, so like...
Oh, so it's almost like a wolf.
Like, yeah. You know what? That's what it is.
Okay.
They're starting to say woof, and then they get too excited and they don't finish
bad.
it.
So it's just my TV. Okay, my bad. You know what? Yeah, that's fair. Listen, man, I'm really excited for this match to just get over with because...
Yeah, for real.
I don't want to see this anymore, man. This is so boring. This is so boring. I don't care about this main event. That's bad. When you don't care about a main event of one of the biggest shows. Yeah, SummerSlam of all shows. Like, what? The only reason that I think people are going to tune into this match is they want to see that cash in that everyone's banking on. No pun intended. But I don't know if that's going to happen. There hasn't been anything confirming that's going to happen yet. But, man, it has to. That's the only thing that's going to save SummerSlam's main event.
Well, it'll definitely be interesting. I do think that Reigns needs to have his moment because he hasn't had many of those. But, no, like, it's... man, it's his yard. You know, like, just let him have his moment in his yard.
I don't know if it's... I mean, I don't know if he... Well, in Vince's eyes, it's his yard. But the fans don't want it to be his yard. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure. No, listen. I like to be. I mean, I like Roman Reigns. I like him. I think he's a good worker. I think. I think if he got a little more freedom and creative, like he could just do his own thing, and I think he'd be a lot better. I think people would accept him more.
Well, it's not even just freedom. It's that he's shoved down our throats. Like people are just sick of him. You know what I mean? Like
no, it's true.
They've it's hard to say that they've ruined him because he is still the top guy in the company based on how they book him, but they've kind of ruined his reputation, I think probably for good. And this main event, this Lesnar versus Reigns match for the Universal title, in all seriousness, is one of those moments in wrestling that come around every now and then where it's like right when I thought... And we all knew this was coming. We knew this was happening for months. Basically, since WrestleMania, we knew that, unfortunately, this was the most likely outcome. Well, and especially since the Greatest Royal Rumble. But it's one of those moments where you think, as much as I knew this was coming, as much as this is such a WWE move, are they really going to do this? Like, was this really their plan?
Like it's not a good one, but apparently, yeah. No. To answer your question, yes, it was their plan. It's not a good one because no one wants to see it.
Yeah, that's what. Like, okay, dude, they want to make Roman Reigns the next John Cena, the next Stone Cold. Actually, they're more playing him up like a Stone Cold than a Cena anyway. But they want him to be the guy, which has become very apparent over the last few years. But this was like the number one move to not getting him over. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like they're listening to what the fans are saying and thinking if we do the opposite somehow, some way, this is gonna work. Like, when they were going into WrestleMania, people were already upset because the main event was gonna be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the second time in like 2 or 3 years, right? People were already upset that we were seeing the same thing again. People were already upset that this guy who had barely shown up on TV with the title was still holding the title, and he was defending it against the guy that was being shoved down our throats that we didn't want to see. And their solution to that was to have Lesnar win in shocking fashion and carry this rivalry out another 6 months. I didn't actually count how many months now that I think about it, but like, you know, they carried it out into the next major pay-per-view, and they're booking it again for the main event. I genuinely don't think they could have screwed this up more.
No. Like, it's so blatantly obvious, and like, I understand because we're not actually running the show. I understand that stuff like this is tough, but this seemed pretty easy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
This seemed like, don't go down this road. Now, don't get me wrong. The shock win from Lesnar at WrestleMania, it was actually pretty cool because it was really shocking. All that speculation, he was going back to UFC at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I liked it, kind of, but now that it's just being dragged out, if WWE realized, like, yeah, okay, well, in story, Roman keeps losing, so maybe we should give it a shot to somebody else, maybe Strowman, maybe Rollins, as you and I were talking about, then yeah, I would really be all over this match, but not Reigns, man. He's not the savior.
Yeah, and like, to be completely honest, this was one of those situations where, like you said, you know, it's obviously a lot harder to book the WWE than what fans make it out to be, and guys with super popular podcasts like us make it out to be. But
I don't know about that.
This is like legitimately the worst possible match you could have made to main event SummerSlam, and I do mean that. I don't think I'm being over emotional in saying that. Literally, give us any other two people in the main event, and we would have been... Give me Brock Lesnar versus Baron Corbin, and I would have been happier with that than Roman Reigns. We've seen it too many times, and the last time they fought was pretty conclusive, right? Or, sorry, no, wait, they fought the Greatest Royal Rumble. But when they fought at WrestleMania, it was pretty conclusive. And then they just, like... They're using the cage match at the Greatest Royal Rumble, that's the other thing, as like this rivalry never really ended because Reigns should have won that match. Lesnar's feet hit the ground first. But it's like, why were they even fighting at the Greatest Royal Rumble in the first place? They kept talking about how, like, the authority and management didn't want to see Reigns succeed. They didn't want to see him as champion. He's not their kind of champion. And yet he's getting a random title shot at the Greatest Royal Rumble after getting his dick kicked in at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, he lost fair and square at WrestleMania, right? Like, I wasn't imagining that.
No, you're on the ball on that one.
I don't know, man. I don't see the logic here.
My question is, what's the payoff in their minds? Reigns has lost all these opportunities, all these times. What, he's 0-3?
Yeah.
Like, technically, well, one was a triple threat, eventually a triple threat.
Yeah, he lost to Rollins technically in that one.
Okay, but fair. Let's say in attempts to dethrone Lesnar, he's 0-4 because last year's SummerSlam, let's not forget.
Oh, yes. That was
Braun,
yeah,
Joe, Reigns.
Joe, that's the one
Brock.
that I forgot about, yeah.
So he hasn't won, pretty much. He's had a couple of opportunities. But what's the big payoff? Okay, he's lost all these times, and now he's going to persevere. He's learned from his past mistakes, and he's going to, like, battle out this big win. Like, no one's convinced about that. He's not an underdog at all. Daniel Bryan in that situation, yeah, for sure. Because you believe it.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've seen the way Roman's pushed every single week. and we understand their mentality. We know what's gonna happen. So I can't guarantee that Roman even wins at SummerSlam, bearing this, Braun Strowman cash-in that, again, people are speculating on. But I don't think that this match really matters to this feud. It kind of died a long time ago, I'd say.
Yeah, I would definitely say
like
so.
Having any meaning, I should say, it has no meaning whatsoever. This is just another filler match. It's to put on the poster with Ronda and Alexa Bliss, and I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. I forgot the Universal title existed, and
Seriously.
Putting it on Roman, it's better because at least it's going to be there every week. But at the end of the day, this feud, it's not an underdog versus it's not David versus Goliath. It's Goliath versus Goliath, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man, and it's really sad because I feel like I'm going into SummerSlam with the same mentality I had going into WrestleMania, where I'm just like, you know what? The silver lining is that the title will finally be off Lesnar, and I can go back to enjoying Lesnar's rare appearances, 1. And 2, they finally get Reigns' title reign, no pun intended, out of the way. You know what I mean? They finally get that title reign that they've been building up to for 2 years now out of the way, and they could go back to focusing on things that we actually want to see. And the really sad thing about that is that is not the way you want to go into a major pay-per-view thinking. That's not the mindset you want to have going into any big WWE event. And that's now the 2 biggest events of the year for me. That's my mentality going into the main event, and it's because of the same match.
Oh, yeah,
it's the exact same match.
Watch WrestleMania, watch the Rumble. I know that had the cage around it, but you're watching the exact same thing. It's so
it's brutal.
Boring. Now listen, there are feuds that guys are gonna face off in multiple pay-per-views against one another, and that's just how feuds work. But you're excited to watch that, Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, sign me up again for SummerSlam. I'm definitely watching that.
Oh, 100%. And even if you go back in history and look at some of the best rivalries of all time, I certainly did not mind watching Jericho and Shawn Michaels go at it 6 times. I was pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not what this is. This is the opposite of that.
This is, what this kind of reminds me of? Sort of, but not sort of. It's once in a lifetime, but not really. It's 2 alpha dogs, again, no pun intended, facing off, and it's in meaningless matches. Yes, there's a title on the line, but who cares? This title sucks, okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bring back the World Heavyweight Championship. Bring back that WCW title.
Yeah.
This thing's
I found it hilarious when Kurt Angle called Brock Lesnar the worst Universal Champion of all time.
I love it.
And I'm like, dude, no, I mean, yeah, but how many Universal champions? It's been Brock, Goldberg, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor for 3 seconds. Those are all the Universal champions.
Literally, if I was going to rank those 4, Kevin Owens is number 1. Finn Balor is number 2, and he held it for a
5
day.
seconds.
Yeah. And I don't even know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter after that. Both pretty garbage. The fact they put the title on Goldberg, I'm like, all right, well, cash grab there.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Kevin Owens. And I felt bad for Jericho, too, because that feud deserved to be a main event level feud.
Don't get me wrong. Their U.S. title match was great, but it should have been for the Universal title.
Yeah, exactly. It should have had a bigger platform.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, they didn't do that. I mean, this feud right now, I'm kind of bored talking about it, to be honest, but it is getting a little interesting. I guess we saw this past week with Heyman, the stuff with Paul Heyman. I guess Kurt Angle did end up firing him. He technically did.
Yeah. Well, you know what it just seemed like to me, though? It just seemed like the typical, this guy's leaving, so let's have him tie up any loose ends kind of thing. Lesnar is gone after SummerSlam. And
hopefully.
It might sound naive because of what happened at WrestleMania, because I personally guaranteed that Lesnar was going to lose. It seemed pretty obvious, but this is as obvious as it gets. He's basically scheduled to fight Daniel Cormier in January. You could tell by the way he looked on Monday that he is getting into fighting shape, because, Lesnar's always ripped out of his mind. It's part of the reason why he's made it to the point where he is right now. But you can see him. You could see a difference when he's getting ready to fight in MMA. You see him slim down a bit, and he looked like he's in fighting shape on Monday. So that's happening. Like, he's leaving after SummerSlam, and that was to me, like, I thought that's what that whole angle was about with Heyman, was just him, cutting ties with Heyman so that Heyman can move on to something else once Lesnar's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I like it. It adds intrigue because, like, yes, we've seen a Paul Heyman Brock Lesnar opposition before.
Oh God, yeah,
but
with Big Show.
Yeah. Oh, now they're gonna put Big Show in this feud, aren't they?
Yes.
Who's gonna?
That's what we need.
He's gonna. Here's what's gonna happen. All right. Roman's gonna win the title. Roman's gonna win the title. Big Show's gonna be like, I want one last run as the champion. So, but I'm gonna be a face, and then I'm gonna turn heel because I've never turned before. But actually,
and their match is gonna be a Jack and the Beanstalk match.
Jack and the Bean. Oh God, that sounds terrible. That's when he said those lines. He was talking about the Big Show. Really? Okay,
yes.
I kind of that sounds like how would that match even work?
The Jack and the Beanstalk match?
Yeah.
It would kind of be like whose mom on a pole match? Whose mom was it again?
Oh.
The WCW, I think.
Yeah, I'm blanking on that. That was before my time.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but like
both of ours. Yeah, but anyway.
It'd be like something like that,
Okay.
Some guy named Jack on a pole, and you.
Yeah, I definitely don't have any interest in that match, but
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What I mean? I don't have any interest in that match.
It's the big dog in a big match. I always
with
watch
with
that.
the Big Show. Yeah, I don't have any interest.
Big.
So it's so big.
So big.
Anyway, that feud has a few more weeks. Honestly, if it means Lesnar's gone and we can move on, I'm cool. I'm alright. with like toughing this one out until after SummerSlam.
Yeah, we said that before WrestleMania, and that's what makes me upset.
Yeah, well, we probably just jinxed it. He's probably staying forever. Yeah, hopefully not.
You know what sucks though? We could have booked this for I booked it for them, and,
yeah.
and they refused to take that on. And the worst part is that I didn't even give them my best idea. I gave them like my Rollins idea. My best. You want to hear what my best idea is? What like how they should have booked it? Really?
Hell yeah.
This is how WWE should have booked post WrestleMania. Okay, fast forward to Money in the Bank. Who's in the match that actually wasn't in the match? Jinder Mahal. Okay, hear me out. Instead of Jinder versus Reigns, instead of giving us what we want too early at a secondary pay-per-view, Reigns fights someone else, I don't care who, and Jinder Mahal wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, okay? At Extreme Rules, Lesnar comes back, Reigns beats him clean under 5 minutes. Okay, just spear after spear after spear, jerks off his wrist, Superman punch, spear, 1, 2, 3.
Jerks off his wrist. I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, well, seriously? Okay.
I don't think. No.
I doubt your logic. Let's just move on. So Reigns versus Jinder, main event, SummerSlam, Universal title on the line. Tell me you could book it better. Tell me you could book it better.
Literally anything's better than that.
But, so you'd rather Reigns and Lesnar?
No, I'd rather just don't vacate the title.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that Jinder cashes in advance. Like he says, I'm cashing in at SummerSlam, and that's
wow. Oh, so it's like a swerve.
Or should he cash in on Lesnar beforehand, and and then Reigns earns a title shot?
Dan, it really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, because it's not going to happen. And it
exactly. But anyway, I can't wait for that main event. I couldn't think of any other title match that should main event SummerSlam and close out the show, Joe and AJ Styles. Anywho.
Right. Wait, you know what? Okay.
Can we talk about the female Brock Lesnar?
I was literally about to say that. I was like, let's move on.
Oh, yeah, it's so obvious.
From the main event of SummerSlam to an equally big storyline playing out right now. An equally talented and ripped individual fighting on the rock. You know what? I'm going to hand this over to you, Mike, because I feel like you're the passionate one about this right now.
I mean, I don't know how passionate I am of it, but I would like to point out the fact that my MVP for not even just Raw, but for WWE this week, hats off to Alicia Fox. Okay, listen, let's talk about this one. All right, first and foremost, the Foxy Floridian is her nickname because she's from Florida. Second of all,
okay.
in case you didn't know, in case you didn't understand, pretty much what happened is she kicked Ronda Rousey's ass. Okay, you were looking at Ronda Rousey. She got this title match. I don't know if she deserves it, but she's good for the mainstream stuff, so fair enough. But anyway, you know who Rousey got her ass kicked by? Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox.
Yeah. Yeah. Echo what I said, bro. Listen.
Boom.
Listen, okay? Not only did she beat Ronda Rousey, beat up Ronda Rousey, but she also beat her friend Natalya one-on-one. Alexa Bliss the champ? Yeah, give her some credit. She was out there giving her
she was
advice.
Okay.
She's a champion, giving her advice. That's what she does. She's champion, right?
That's what she does.
Ronda comes out of nowhere, has no business being out there. No business. Was that her match?
No business.
I remember seeing her on the card. No, I know she was coming back this week, but no business. This is just a one-on-one match. Sure, it's your friend. That doesn't give you special privileges, or does it? Yeah, I guess it kind of does.
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it does, right? It does.
Right.
That's what happens. Anyway, she's going after Bliss because of all this stuff going on. What happens? Fox picks her spots, but picks them well. Picks them smartly. People say, "Oh, she's bad. She's cowardly." No, she's smart. Okay, there's a big difference, people.
Smart.
So she attacks Ronda. Now Ronda does that little slam thing that looks kind of dangerous to me, but whatever. These girls, they're not ballet dancers. They're wrestlers, so they can take that kind of punishment. So Rousey's like, all right, well, we don't need to face Fox anymore. One move, I can knock her down. I'm like Roman Reigns. One move of doom. I knock her down. I'm going to go after Bliss because that's what I do. I'm going to go after Alexa Bliss. She's not even competing. She's not even in her ring gear. She's in her leather jacket. But let's go attack her anyway. So she distracts. But here's the thing. You gotta be aware of your surroundings, right? Because Natalya, she's not going to help you. She's laid out on the ground. So what happens? Well, you better make sure you knock Fox down when you do, because she got back up and she attacked Ronda. Not once with one shot, not two shots, probably 4 or 5, and then whipped her into the barricade, knocking her out, and then her and Bliss split. That's
Boom.
It. And then Fox and Ronda are gonna face off next week on Raw.
Yes.
Ronda Rousey's in-ring debut for Monday Night Raw. She's making her Raw debut, and she already has a title shot. How is that possible? I don't know, but it's a main event, mainstream sort of show, SummerSlam. So of course she's gonna get the title shot because screw all the other women.
I mean, if there's any lesson to be learned here, it's that Alicia Fox should be the one fighting for the title at SummerSlam.
Honestly, yeah, she should be. She beat Natalya, okay? She's got Alexa Bliss in her corner, okay?
Yes.
What has Ronda done? Starred in movies, starred in the UFC. Yeah.
Nothing. All of it's nothing.
So anyway, no, I'm done, man. You got me. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of the Ronda Rousey push. I get why WWE does it. I feel like it's a bit of a slap in the face to the rest of the women. Don't even get me started about the Evolution pay-per-view. Not a huge fan of it, gonna be honest with you.
Whoa, okay. We
Not
gotta
being
talk
sexist.
about that.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Wow, you're sexist.
No.
Wait. Let's let this settle for a second, all right? We haven't even finished talking about Alicia Fox, all right? No.
There was nothing much to say, dude.
As much as I enjoyed being your hype man, while you poetically, what's the word I'm looking for? No, not poetically. Passionately, I don't even, you talked about Alicia Fox for a while.
Yeah.
That was cool. But, so, WWE is doing a pay-per-view in October, I believe. October, right?
Yep.
Okay, October. It will be called Evolution, and it's going to be the first ever female-only pay-per-view. Michael Cummings, I would like to hear your non-sexist reason for not wanting this pay-per-view to happen.
Well, first and foremost, Dan, just to inform all the listeners at home, Stephanie McMahon invented women's wrestling, and don't you forget it. Second of all, the reason I'm not a huge fan of this is, well, it's not confirmed, but apparently around that same time, WWE is going back to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah, that's happening, yeah.
So, Dan, who's not allowed in Saudi Arabia? The women. They're not allowed to go. Way to push on, Vince. Way to grow as a company. So, you know what they're doing? To make it up, we're going to give an all-women's pay-per-view. We're gonna put all the women together for one 5-hour night, or however long it's going to be.
Yeah.
We're going to have the Raw Women's Championship defended, the SmackDown Women's Championship defended, the NXT Women's Championship defended, the NXT UK Women's Championship defended, the finals of the Mae Young Classic. All that's going down. All of that. Just because they're not going to Saudi Arabia.
It does create quite the ethical dilemma. Because on the one hand, this Evolution pay-per-view is kind of a progressive thing, right? Like, it is the first ever female-only pay-per-view, which, by the way, has brought out some of the worst wrestling fans, or at least wrestling fan comments on social media. I don't know if that's the kind of thing that you pay attention to, but whoo boy, does it get cringy at times like this. But on the other hand, what you're saying is 100% true. It does kind of hurt it. It does kind of hurt the progressiveness of this pay-per-view when the only reason they're doing it is because they're basically selling out and taking a big wad of cash to go somewhere that doesn't support women performing, and kind of complying with that by only having men perform on the show. So, yeah, this isn't what it looks like on the surface. This isn't just like they're doing a women's only pay-per-view. This is the future of sports, and this is the future of a society that is truly equal. Not that the WWE should ever be at the forefront of such a thing, but it is not what it looks like on the surface. So I think it's important to have conversations like that. And as we get closer to the event, I think we'll definitely have to come back to this a lot. I will say one thing though: if they use this pay-per-view to introduce a women's tag team title, a women's intercontinental title, I would be so diddy down for that.
Listen, I'm a fan of this pay-per-view. I like how we're progressing. I just don't like the reason for it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. There
we go.
What you're saying is not something that a lot of people are talking about from what I've seen, and I think it is important to talk about stuff like that. 100%.
Why are they going back to Saudi Arabia? That show was so boring.
I'll tell you exactly why. I have 500 million reasons why they're going back to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, okay. Beat me to it. Okay, well,
Money talks, buddy. Money talks.
Well, listen. The only part of that event that was good was the Rumble match.
Yeah, and it was, okay.
And it was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that good. Those matches made no sense. No titles changed hands. The only match where titles were won was the vacant Raw Tag Team title match, or that had to be the case.
Even the Royal Rumble, I love Royal Rumbles. It's one of my favorite gimmick matches, maybe my favorite gimmick match ever. But there was no stakes. There was nothing. What did Braun win? He won a trophy that he carried around for a day.
No, he won he won a title too. But
he didn't carry around for a day.
Not that we're supposed to talk about that anymore.
Seriously, it was
garbage.
So dumb.
It's garbage. And why are you going back a second time this year? And aren't they going to Australia as well?
Money, man. Yeah, Australia. They are going to Australia.
Jesus Christ, this company is bringing me down, man.
I know. But money, man. Isn't that what the Beatles always talked about? Money is everything?
Well,
pretty sure that's a Beatles thing.
Yeah. I don't know. They're a good band.
That's what I want. So give me money. That's what I want.
That's probably written on the walls of the HQ in WWE. So
the best things in life are free, but you can. Oh God!
What are you trying?
The best things in life are free, but you can keep them for the birds and bees. Now give me money. That's what I want.
Wow! Look at you,
Dan Marino.
Look at you. All worldly and such. Anywho,
right?
Can't wait for that match. Rousey and Fox should be a good one. Wonder what's gonna happen.
Wait, what? Oh, when do we get back to that?
I thought that's what we were talking about. I kind of wanted to move on, so
I totally forgot Alicia Fox was
still wrestling.
So Baron Corbin beat Finn Balor. That was a thing that happened.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm not a fan of that one.
Okay, so I'm gonna come clean here on the podcast. This is a podcast exclusive. This is breaking news. This is an exclusive here. Okay.
All right.
I did not actually watch Raw or SmackDown this week.
You, Dan. How are we supposed
watch
to do
it last week?
How are we supposed to do these podcasts if you don't watch the shows?
So,
now, let me admit, I also didn't watch the shows, but I know what happened. No. Listen, WWE's YouTube channel, respect to whoever uploads those videos, and all the recappers, respect to you guys, because I don't want to watch that garbage. I got other things going on in my life.
Well, I actually have a genuine excuse, and I was telling you about it before we came on, and that's that we just recently switched cable companies, and I don't have the channel that has Raw or SmackDown. I got a very basic package, so that's the issue there. But,
blessing in
like
disguise.
you said, yeah, for real. But WWE, their YouTube channel is awesome. They do post segments, like pretty much every segment from the shows, and I want to special shout out to Cage Side Seats because they're my favorite site to follow for live updates on Raw and SmackDown. Like they really break it down nicely and kind of keep you involved with everything that's going on.
Yeah, thank you to you guys. Thank you to you guys.
Yeah, for sure. But what I'm getting at is I don't know if Baron Corbin wrestled in his suit.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yes, I knew it.
He did like in his vest thing.
Yeah, I know. That's what he usually does. We need to get a petition going. Okay?
Okay.
I thought Baron Corbin's hair was the worst thing happening in wrestling. I thought that him shaving his head would be the most satisfying thing in wrestling. I was wrong, Mike. There's something worse than Baron Corbin not shaving his head for so long, and that is Baron Corbin consistently coming out and wrestling in a freaking suit. That is the most uncomfortable, cringeworthy experience that I've ever seen, is watching this man wrestle in a suit. I don't know what the WWE's obsession is with, this guy went corporate, so he has to always wrestle in a suit, a la Corporate Kane. But, Triple H went corporate, and he doesn't wrestle in a suit.
No, he probably wears his tights on underneath his suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like Cesaro.
What's that?
Cesaro comes out in a suit and then just rips it off, James Bond style. Well,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
All right. Why does he need, just because he's now Constable Corbin doesn't mean he has to wrestle he can wear a suit backstage and come out and wrestle in regular attire.
So let me get this straight. On a wrestling show, when this guy became some sort of authority figure, they say, Baron, even though you are a wrestler, you're now an authority figure, please turn in your ring gear.
That's what happened. That's what happened, right?
Or he doesn't have enough space for it in his suitcase. He's got to put his suit in there or something. I don't know. That's ridiculous, though, man. Honestly, yeah, you know what? Like, it looks funny, but like, I get warm watching that. It's the summer. It's really hot. And this guy's indoor. I mean, he's indoors. It's probably a little cooler in there, but he's wrestling in a suit. First of all, why are you wrestling in a suit? That probably costs a lot of money.
It's gross. You know what? I have to wear dress clothes to work every day. And I hate sitting at a desk wearing dress clothes. Imagine.
You're wearing dress clothes right now because you're working.
Well, okay, I'm at my other job, all right? Like
the one that pays. The one
that actually pays me.
I see.
The big bucks. My corporate sellout job that I have.
Wow, you actually sold out, eh?
I did sell out. The second I graduated, I sold out immediately.
So you are Constable Dan.
I don't know if I told you this, but I went in for my interview the day after my last class. So I didn't waste a second. 24 hours after my last class, I was already selling out.
You are
wearing a suit.
Director Dan.
Yes. I was 24 hours after my last class. I was sitting there in a suit being interviewed by a bunch of management types at a very large company. I will not drop their name, but a very large Canadian company.
Dude. Anyway,
I sold out big time, man, and I don't regret it. If you were to look at I was gonna cut a promo on how much money I have, but I can't lie that much.
Yeah,
I can't lie that much on the podcast. I wouldn't want to, deface the podcast like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was getting at is Baron Corbin should not be wrestling in a suit, and why the hell did he beat Finn Balor?
See, that's what I don't get. Listen, okay, here's what should have happened. All right. Because Corbin beat up Balor after the match. He just destroyed him after the match. So if that's how that segment was going to finish, then why did he have to win the match too? because that hurts Balor's credibility. At least if he wins but gets beat up, like he already won, so it's okay in a sense. But now it's like he lost twice, in my opinion.
So what you're saying is that the WWE doesn't know how to book Finn Balor?
No. I don't think they do.
On a scale of winning the Universal title, being the first ever Universal Champion, and being pinned clean by Kane on Raw, where does this rank for Finn Balor?
Probably closer to the Kane one, but definitely closer to the Kane one.
Does it surpass Kane?
Probably not, because that was pretty damn bad.
I would agree.
Listen, if this was 10 years ago, yeah, okay, fine. He lost to Kane. Yeah, but not now. Kane's got a gut. I have one too, but you know what I mean? I don't wrestle.
Yeah, exactly. Kane has a gut, and he is a mayor.
Yeah.
And I would disagree. Well, I don't have a gut.
Okay, well, not everyone's as perfect as you. You're the Finn Balor in this story.
I'm exactly like Finn Balor, actually. To be honest with you, I'm like, if anyone listening to this podcast doesn't know what I'm looking...
You're not like Finn Balor.
If anyone listening to this podcast doesn't know what I look like, just picture Finn Balor talking into a microphone. That's what's happening.
Smiling. Dan smiles a lot. But he doesn't mean it. Like Finn.
Okay.
Just saying. Anyway.
It's like a thing. All right, sure.
I don't know why they had that match. I'm kind of bored of this feud because it's honestly just about height. First of all, nobody's as tall as Baron Corbin except for tall people like him. But not the average person. The average height's like 5'8" or whatever. And Balor's like 5'10" or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what? The WWE just seems to think that big guys wanting to fight smaller guys is just what people want to see, man.
Yeah,
that's
like
Big Cass versus Daniel Bryan.
This isn't the NBA, where if you're 6'2", you're considered short or whatever. You know what I mean? This isn't the NBA.
I remember how shocked I was to find out DeMar DeRozan's like 6'6" or 6'7".
Can we not talk about DeMar DeRozan?
What do you mean?
I don't want to talk. Well, first of all, this is a wrestling podcast, not a basketball podcast. And second of all...
Wait, you mean you don't want to talk about San Antonio Spurs legend DeMar DeRozan?
No, Dan, I don't want to talk about San Antonio Spurs legend DeMar DeRozan. It's the wrong sport.
Oh, would you rather talk about all-time Toronto Raptors legend and great and two-time Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard?
No.
Oh, sorry, I should have said one time, but I was speaking more in the future, like 2018, 2019.
Okay, anyway.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Yeah. McIntyre Rollins, bro. Hey, I'm all for this feud. Well, Rollins and Ziggler, I'm all for. McIntyre and Rollins, they did pretty good in the ring together.
Oh, yeah. But does that shock you?
No. No, it actually doesn't. And I think that should have been the final match of Raw this week, but it wasn't.
It was the final
Women's Tag Team match.
Rollins should close out every single show.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, he should.
He's just so good. Where would you... I was thinking earlier today, is there any like old school rivalry that you would compare Rollins and Ziggler to?
Oh, now you got me digging.
Does anything come to mind?
Do you have one in mind?
I have one in mind.
Okay, come back to me. What are you saying?
I think that this rivalry, and look, it's not being treated the same, and it should be treated the same, but this rivalry reminds me a lot of Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. And I know that's like a big statement to make, but I mean, Ziggler's been pretty open about the fact, and his character is pretty open about the fact that he wants to be Shawn Michaels, and he like kind of resembles Shawn Michaels, right?
Yeah.
He's got Diesel, McIntyre with him, and you know,
he's got the super kick.
He's got the super kick. They fought in an Iron Man match that Ziggler / Shawn Michaels won, and he was carried out by Nash. You know, not Diesel. I meant McIntyre.
Okay, I got you now. Yeah.
These are two of the best workers in the company, and it's just a rivalry based on competition. Like, it's just one wants to be better than the other. You know what I mean?
So simple yet so good.
Exactly. Like this, it's just so. It should be the main event of SummerSlam.
Let me ask you something. When when Ziggler showed up on Raw his first night this year, and before McIntyre came out, when Ziggler was just talking about he wants to be the best, blah 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 blah, running down Titus Worldwide, were you like me and thinking, Ziggler, yeah, cool, I guess they don't really care about him?
Yeah.
Okay.
My thought process was, man, I love Ziggler, but it might just be over for him.
Exactly. And then, what's this? McIntyre comes out of the crowd somehow. Nobody saw him. Nobody saw him because I didn't hear any screams.
Yeah.
And ever since that moment, I'm sold on this.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, the second he came out, I was like, damn, this might work for both guys. Like, this might really work for both guys. This could be one of the cooler things to watch going forward. And it looked like they were going to be pushed as a tag team and kind of get in the mix there with the Deleter of Worlds and all that. But I like the way they're going, man, because it's making both guys look awesome. Like, Ziggler, again, he's got a really good Shawn Michaels vibe going to him right now. And I know he's, he's not like a hot shot rookie or whatever, right? Like he's a vet, but he's still got that pretty boy, fights like a face but talks like a heel. He's got a big bodyguard with him. He's got the Shawn Michaels vibe going right now.
Oh yeah.
And McIntyre looks like a friggin' monster.
Oh yeah. If that guy isn't like leading the charge, I'm not sure what that company's doing. That guy is gold. And I even thought he was good in his first run. Not the 3MB stuff.
No.
But the Chosen One stuff, I figure when the chairman of the company picks you as a guy who's going to succeed publicly, probably not going to do so well. I thought he still played the role really well. And then 3MB, blah, 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 garbage, But I love what he's doing now. He went back to the Indies. He killed it. Comes back to WWE. When he showed up in NXT on the pay-per-view and got that crowd reaction, wow. Like, yeah, that's Drew McIntyre. Not even like former WWE superstar Drew McIntyre. This is like big deal Drew McIntyre. And he's killed it over the past year and a bit. So, this guy needs to be leading the charge. If Roman Reigns needs an opponent for the Universal title, if that's how this is going down, or even Strowman and McIntyre? Come on.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. And you know what? Props to WWE, though, because in theory, it seems easy, but it's not easy to have someone be... Because I know they're not really saying that he's Ziggler's bodyguard, but he basically is. And it's not easy to have the bodyguard character still look like he can fight for a title, but Drew McIntyre looks like he could fight for a title. They're making him look amazing.
Yeah, he doesn't need Ziggler to be over.
But they're great together.
Oh, yeah, it's good. Good, really good dynamic. I'm a fan of it for sure. You mentioned the Deleters of Worlds. I just wanted to throw this out there. They lost to the Revival on Raw. Interesting. I hope the Revival gets some sort of shot eventually at the titles against the B team. But as we were talking about just before we went on, it seems maybe that Matt Hardy may be teasing his retirement. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got the tweet right here. You want me to just read it out?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So Matt Hardy, 12 hours ago, so 12 hours before we this recording. By the time this goes out, it'll probably be like around 24 hours or something like that. But Matt Hardy tweeted out a picture of himself, and we were kind of speculating where the picture's from, because it definitely does not look like it's from WWE. It looks like either TNA or Ring of Honor. But the caption with the photo is, "To all that supported me in the Independents and Omega, to the fans of Team Extreme, to the Mattitude followers, to the outspoken fans who brought me back in 2005, to the people who backed me when I was, in capital letters, reincarnated in pro wrestling, to the hashtag Woken Warriors, capital letters, thank you." I mean...
Pinned tweets, I might add.
It's a pinned tweet.
So, nothing's been said yet, nothing official. But I don't know. I mean, he is 45 maybe, 44. He's getting up there in age.
Oh, yeah.
He's been around for a long time. It's crazy to think. He's been around for so long.
He's been around for a really long time. He's been in some like really savage matches that like really wear down on your body.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me just because of the way that the Deleters of Worlds have been going. It seemed like they were going to get a mega push as like, every once in a while they like to push a tag team in a major way. And it looked like that's what this was going to be because they had this cool dynamic going on with Matt and Bray after their big rivalry. And, obviously they're bigger household names than the average tag team. And it was something that people had been wanting to see for so long. So it looked like this was going to be a thing. Like they were going to get pushed big time. And then all of a sudden they lost the titles in their first real title defense on a pay-per-view to the team of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. And then they lose a rematch on Raw. And then they lose the Revival on Raw. And it's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, how are these guys not being pushed more? It just seems very sudden for them to just kind of come down, not only lose their titles, but like kind of look garbage. And now it kind of makes sense. If Matt Hardy's actually thinking about retiring, it makes sense that they would have him kind of push some other tag teams up as he's going out. Or, because it's wrestling and this stuff seems to happen all the time, maybe he's retiring because of that. Because they're just not giving him the push that he probably deserves.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, all we can do is speculate. We don't even know if he's retiring.
Yeah, of course.
But, I mean, you do make some great points. It's tough to call. I'd say the age has to probably be the bigger factor for me, at least, if this is the case.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's why it wouldn't be shocking if he's just retiring and they're having him push up other people on the way out.
I would love one last Hardy Boys match for WrestleMania or something, but, I mean, WrestleMania 33 was pretty special, and I don't think... It might be the top WrestleMania moment of all time. Maybe. I put in I don't have a list in front of me, but I put it as one of my top 5. So...
wow, really?
Hell yeah, that was amazing. Just a pop. Maybe more pop related.
I mean, it was pretty good, but like a lot of great things. I mean, Ric Flair being retired, Shawn Michaels being retired by The Undertaker.
Yeah, okay, fine. Top, whatever. It's up there. But anyway, it was pretty amazing. It was pretty special.
Hogan slamming Andre?
Okay, listen.
The Rock having to turn heel on the fly against Hogan in Toronto?
Roman Reigns beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania?
Every big dog, biggity doggity moment in the biggest stage of them all with the big dog in the yard, all of that.
That is probably my number -1.
Wow, that's above.
Anyway, the point is that moment is up there because of just how special it was, how unknown it was. Either they did a really good job, and you can see it in the WWE 24 special. They did a really good job of hiding them. So,
yeah,
it shocked the hell out of fans.
Didn't they fight for Ring of Honor like the day before too?
Yeah, and they were saying like, "Oh yeah, we're going home. We're already home," and all that. Nobody knew where they were. They had to sneak out of their hotel and all that kind of stuff because people keep track of this kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, they did really good. In today's day and age, it's hard to keep that secret.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. When you have people that their sole purpose is just to make like checks on stuff like that. Yeah. If this is the end for Matt, obviously we'll see you in the Hall of Fame, you and Jeff.
Oh yeah.
I would probably, I don't know how it works, but I would probably induct them separately and then together. If you could do that, that's how I would do it.
Well, yeah, they did that for Ric Flair. So
I mean, the Four Horsemen were pretty. Like, that's on a whole other level, I'd say. But still.
Yeah, but Team Extreme is one of the greatest tag teams in the history of wrestling.
For sure. For myself, when I got into wrestling, started to watch it, and I was more of a SmackDown guy than a Raw guy. I don't know, I just found it easier to watch, even though Raw had John Cena way back when. But when I watched SmackDown, even though he wasn't the number one guy, and really wasn't, like, one of the top guys per se, but, like, was still a pretty, good part of the show, Matt Hardy was definitely my favorite. He just seemed like a cool guy, and he seemed like he just put out there all the time, put the fans first, just bust his ass in the ring, try to be the best. And like as a kid, you're pretty influenced by that kind of stuff. So I owe a lot to Matt and my wrestling fandom. I followed his career wherever he's gone. I know he's went through some dark times, and I'm really glad that he's been able to overcome those. And I obviously wish the best for Jeff as well in those terms. But if this is the end for Matt, I mean, thank you, man. Honestly, you made a lot of memories for a lot of wrestling fans.
No, certainly like I said, he was one half of one of the greatest tag teams of all time. He's part of what's probably the greatest tag team rivalry of all time between Team Extreme and the Dudley Boys, and of course Edge and Christian. Yeah, I mean, I can't put it any better than you did. That was pretty... Damn, bro, you and your passionate speeches tonight.
Listen,
oh my
man,
God.
Listen, I do what I do.
Tear to my eye.
I do what I do. Anyway.
No, but seriously, we'll see if this is the end. I wouldn't mind, because there's just not a lot of room for guys in the main event scene, and I don't want to see him kind of take on a lesser role, because he deserves better than that. And if he does call it a career, he's calling a great career. So.
I mean, I guess at this age, you can start to think he's just going to put other guys over. And I guess they kind of did that, but was Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel the right guys to put over?
Yes.
The revival.
I was
yes.
gonna say,
or Authors of Pain, absolutely.
So speaking of the revival beating the Leaders of Worlds, the revival are fighting for the title, correct? They're fighting for the title, the tag team titles.
I don't believe that's official.
No, it's not official, but it's gonna happen, right?
Probably, because I think the other feud in the tag team division is the Authors of Pain and Titus Worldwide. It's kind of a first feud for the Authors of Pain. Apollo Crews did win. He beat one of them on Monday. I forget which one. Forgive me. But I think that's going to be that feud going forward. So yeah, probably the revival, unless there's some random team that comes through.
Well, I mean, okay, so the B team has pretty much turned face, and the revivals are... Sorry, oh my God, I can't speak. The revival, they're obviously heels. And they've been kind of getting a little bit of a push lately. They beat Lashley and Reigns in a tag match. Obviously, that was for screwy reasons, but still, it was.
Still counts.
I'm pretty sure it was the main event of Raw too, and they've been talking about it nonstop. Now they just beat the Leaders of Worlds, who just lost the tag team titles. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me that the revival is going to be the next in line. They're probably going to fight the B team at SummerSlam for the tag titles, and I don't what do you think they're actually going to pull the trigger here, or are they just building them up so that they could be a realistic challenger?
I mean, they could definitely be a placeholder. The B team could definitely be a placeholder team for the time being, if they really have that faith in the revival, because NXT, they were the team.
But see, they haven't shown any faith in them until last month.
That's true. The reason for that,
they
injuries.
Bad.
The injuries,
yeah,
though,
I know.
That's the reason.
Yeah, but even... I don't know, man.
Apparently Vince McMahon was not pleased with their injuries, and it happens. I get it. It's not really their fault. It's wrestling.
Obviously, it's not their fault. God.
So
I hate when athletes get blamed for injuries. It's just...
Yeah, it's what do you think I'm doing out there?
Yeah.
Anyway, they got injured, so Vince McMahon wasn't too pleased about that. So I get that. If you put a lot of, if you see these guys get big injuries, and I think that's kind of the thing with Dolph Ziggler. He used to get hurt a lot, so the company might look at that and think, well, can we really push him, because he might just get hurt again? You know what I mean?
Well, it did kill his what looked like it was going to be the biggest push of his career.
Exactly. So I think that might have been the reason, but hopefully this is now the time for the company to say, okay, we can trust these guys to lead our division. We're not really doing anything with our Raw Tag Team division. Just let the revival have the titles, and they can feud with whoever. Titus Worldwide wouldn't mean that much, but at least you'd have some faces against the heels. Heath Slater and Rhino are on Raw. You can find things.
Yeah.
One tag team I'm hoping to get back together would be Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, but that's just me.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So yeah, anyway, we are really, really deep into this.
Yeah, so I was going to say, we're definitely moving on to SmackDown now.
Yeah.
Definitely want to talk about Kevin Owens, but we'll talk about it next week. Because we haven't really touched on that on the podcast, how he's now fighting for the briefcase at SummerSlam. But again, we'll get to that next week. We got plenty of time before SummerSlam. Let's talk about another match that has become official since the last time we spoke on the podcast. This one is for the title, the WWE title, that is. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe at SummerSlam, the true main event. And,
yeah,
Mike, I mean, all the way back at WrestleMania, while we're all focused on another major event, I had the foresight to tell you who was going to be fighting for the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And we're all better off for it though, because this is what should be the match at SummerSlam. This is where Joe should be on the card. It's been a long time coming.
Oh, absolutely. Like I'm very happy for you. I'm also very happy that you were right. I am. No, I am. It's cool. Like if you're able to predict something like that in a company where some things are very predictable and some things are very unpredictable.
Yeah.
But I am happy because now we get to see a really, really good match that honestly should main event the show, but it won't. It's not even on the it's not even on the poster. So
of course it's not.
What do you think's on the poster, Dan?
I'm gonna guess there's a big dog.
Yep.
Beside that big dog is a beast that's being permanently, how do you say? Oh man, being coitused, but like through his boobies. Okay. So there's that.
Yep. Okay.
And
I'll accept that.
Then I'm gonna say there is. Oh man, I'm running out of ways to describe people. Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's it. That's the whole poster, at least according to Wikipedia. But I can't. Like, how is this Joe Styles not on the poster?
I mean, Mike, you gotta give the people what they want, right?
And
they want Lesnar. They want Reigns. They want Ronda, and they want Bliss. I mean, I do love Bliss though.
You should. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you what you should want. Want whatever you want, but it's Joe and Styles, man. Come on. Now listen.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. Hey. Oh, sorry. Go.
Well, I was just gonna say, this match has happened before multiple times in other promotions, TNA, Ring of Honor, so on and so forth. So that mentality of AJ Styles being in a feud that he's been in before, but actually for the first time in WWE, hope they don't screw it up. Shinsuke Nakamura one, kind of bad. I think this one you can't screw up.
Well, you know what? Like I didn't think the Shinsuke rivalry was as bad as people made it out to be. I liked how I like where the feud went after Shinsuke turned heel. I think they had a few good matches that were ruined by bad endings, and I think their final match was bonkers. I love their final match.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like it wasn't as bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just like overall, you kind of end on that sour note, I think, for me. That's just kind of how I view that feud.
That's fair.
But I don't think that this one can't go wrong. And I mean that there's no way it's going to go wrong because you have Joe and Styles. Yeah. I don't think there's any possible way this one goes wrong. Unless something crazy happens. But if they just continue with Joe wanting to be the champion and Styles wanting to be the champion, that's going to work. I'm so excited for this match.
And you know what I love is that me and my brother were talking about right before they announced this match how WWE's had a problem lately where they just don't know how to build a rivalry for the title. Like every title feud has been Roman Reigns wins a tournament, or Roman Reigns wins a chamber match, or Roman Reigns wins this random number one contenders 5-man battle royal shit, whatever, right? That's how every title challenger has been determined for what seems like forever now, other than the Royal Rumble winner. And, you know, if you look at NXT, because it's going to be Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT title at TakeOver, you can build a rivalry where the title is just the prize at the end, right? So I really didn't... When Paige was saying she's just going to announce the next challenger for the title on SmackDown, I was getting a little nervous just because the worst example of random, like not actual rivalry building for the title that's been in recent memory is Asuka randomly just being announced as the title challenger for Carmella's women's title, which makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
Like, I get if that's the rivalry you want it to go with, but like at least have it happen for a reason and not just Paige being like, Asuka, go, you get to fight for the title now, right?
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised with the way they did this because it fit the character of Samoa Joe. Joe is like this, this mercenary, this tough guy, oh God, I love his character so much because he's one of the few heels that they don't make look weak every single
I love it. Right? I love it, man.
Like he's actually a badass and he takes what he wants. So it was really smart, I thought, to have AJ sign the contract and then Paige gets distracted by Ellsworth and Joe just says, I want it. I'm going to take it. just beats the living hell out of AJ and signs it himself. Like, I thought that was really cool because you have a rivalry that starts for a reason. Like, it wasn't just out of the blue. It is Joe having a clear motivation, and that's that he wants to be champion, and AJ having a reason to be mad at Joe other than the fact that they're fighting for the title, right? Because when you just have Joe win a number one contenders match, or you just have him announced as the challenger, it's kind of hard for me to buy the fact that AJ hates Samoa Joe. Because there's no reason for him to.
Exactly, yeah.
Now you have Joe hating Styles because he wants what Styles has, which is the title, and AJ hates Joe because Joe went about it the wrong way, and because Joe kicked the shit out of him. Like, it's very basic, and it's easy to understand, and it's just wrestling at its best. You know, like, I cannot wait to see where this rivalry goes. We know it's going to be awesome in the ring because Joe can bring it, and AJ might, him or Seth Rollins is like the best wrestler in the world right now, in my opinion. So, you know, Styles is always going to have a good match. Joe can go in the ring, and nothing brings a good match out of Joe like a high flyer like AJ Styles.
Absolutely, I agree. Well put. Honestly, I'm really excited. This is going to be really cool. I gotta admit, my heart kind of stopped when Ellsworth's music hit during that announcement. So I'm like, this is not what's going to happen, is it? I figured, yeah. I mean, I guess I figured it was going to be Joe. We kind of talked about that already. But I like your point about the no unnecessary build-up. Just kind of have it. It just happens because it's happening. You know what I mean? I like that. You don't need to have like this tournament kind of garbage or whatever. It works, but not.
Just have two guys hate each other for a reason,
exactly,
man. Have them fight for the title.
Not hard at all.
No.
But they're doing this one really well.
Oh, yeah. And I can't wait because, man, there are very few people in the world that can cut a promo like Samoa Joe. AJ isn't the best on the mic, but he could tell a story, especially when the guy across from him is really good at it. So this rivalry is gonna friggin' work. Joe's promo on Tuesday, like last night, was one of the few things I've actually seen with my eyes and not read about. And yeah, it was good. Oh yeah, it was really good. It was real good.
And and again, what's great is that you expect that, and he delivers every single time. So I'm a huge fan of it, really. And this match, like you and I have said, should be going on last, but it won't. But I don't think I need to tell people to watch it regardless, because you know it's going to be good. So just prepare before, get your food, get your beer, get your whatever, get yourself comfortable to sit there and for 20 minutes or so be entertained by two of the best performers in the world today. I'm very excited for this match. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. I'll be happy unless there's a screwy finish.
It's going to be Joe.
I think it's going to be Joe too. AJ's kind of had a very long run ever since Survivor Series last year.
Yeah. Well, that's it's just a combination of it's time for AJ to drop the belt and kind of stay out of the main event for a bit, and it's also time for Joe to finally get his place on top. And you knew they weren't going to give it to him at an event like WrestleMania, so this is his time. This is his time to win.
I totally agree.
And speaking of title matches at SummerSlam, involving some good wrestlers, last night on SmackDown, Miss Charlotte inserted herself into the SmackDown Women's title match formerly between Becky Lynch and Carmella. What are we thinking here, Mike? What does this mean? Because it looked like...
Charlotte Flair sneaking her way in on her first night back after some time off.
Yeah. Oh. So is this... Like, it looked like they were just kind of finally realizing, like, oh shit, we have Becky Lynch on our roster. I totally forgot about that. We haven't done anything with her for like 2 years now, and she's super awesome at wrestling. And so they were finally going to give her, like, you know, at least a spotlight by having her fight for the title at SummerSlam, like one of the biggest events of the year. Now Charlotte enters the triple threat match, making it a triple threat match. And I don't know about you, but I smell something, Mike. Does it smell like a heel turn?
I'm smelling one, bro. Honestly, I gotta admit,
someone's turning heel, right?
I'm smelling one. But here's the thing. I don't think I'm crazy to say if there was Becky Lynch and you had Charlotte Flair, I don't think it'd be crazy to assume Charlotte would be the one to turn heel because we've already seen it. However, I think they're teasing Becky Lynch to turn heel, and the story's perfect. 100%. The story's perfect. I'm gonna explain why. She hasn't won in 2 years. She's been kind of floundering. She's been prying for a shot. Don't get me wrong, but it just hasn't worked out. She finally gets her opportunity. She finally gets her title match, and what happens? Her so-called best friend Charlotte comes back from her time away, and just inserts herself, kind of steals the shot at the title. Because now you don't get Carmella one-on-one, you get Carmella, but you also have to face Charlotte Flair, who's one of the best women in the best performers in the company overall. So, I could see Becky. She finally got her shot, and now it's kind of being taken from her. She's a little fed up, especially with her best friend. Maybe. That's what I can see.
It's always a little suspicious when they start really driving home the fact that two wrestlers are best friends, even though they weren't always considered best friends on TV. So that's a red flag right there. But even just the fact that they have two big-time faces in the company that are in a triple threat match for the women's title that involves a heel that has to cheat her way into winning every match. This is just a perfect recipe for a heel turn. You could turn Charlotte heel because heel Charlotte is my favorite female competitor in wrestling. I love her heel, her work as a heel. Becky Lynch is one of those characters that a lot of people have kind of been saying they want to see her turn heel for a while now because her character went stale because she just wasn't being used properly. So it'd be cool to see. I mean, she's looked good recently, but she's still not at the level that she should be or that she used to be at. And maybe a heel turn is the way to go to do that. So now, like I said, you've got this triple threat match. You've got a champion who I'm thinking they still want her to have to come out of SummerSlam as a champion, but she always needs a really screwy way to get out of it. One way to have her do that is if one of the other two turns heel on the other one, and somehow that leads to Carmella picking up the win.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being the case. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know if Becky Lynch would convince me as a heel, just because she's so likable. Is that just me?
But you know what, Mike? That it's 100% true, but that's because she's been playing a face for her entire career, as far as I can tell. I've never seen her play a heel.
Very true. But she doesn't play the face like Rollins. Rollins is kind of like his own guy, and he just kind of fights for. He likes the crowd. He's fighting for them, but he wants to be successful on his own. Becky, she loves the kids. She loves people to cheer for her. She fights for the crowd. She always gets them going, all that kind of stuff.
100%.
She's a people person. That's what I get, and I don't know if people person
for sure
could turn heel. Charlotte Flair, very good heel. We've seen it before. I think that would make much more sense. Especially, I think that would make more sense if they're gonna build towards this Rousey Charlotte mega match.
Yeah, that's the other thing. But Rousey should be the one to turn heel. God damn it.
Well, but they're not. They can't do that.
Yes, they can.
She's the cash cow.
Free.
No, she's the
Heyman's
cash.
Free now.
She's the cash cow. She's not turning heel.
Man, Brock Lesnar's been a heel for how many years now, and he was legitimately a big cash cow.
But he doesn't. Well, yeah, but he doesn't do mainstream stuff for the company. He just shows up whenever he gets paid to. He's not a guy. No, he's not He's not one of those guys. He's not one of those people.
Rousey doesn't love the media either, man. She doesn't like doing that shit either.
But she does
won't do it long term.
But she always does it. Oh, she's getting paid. She's doing it now. She's promoting all her movies are coming out. She can't turn heel. Charlotte Flair, though, has been a heel. I think that makes sense.
I agree with you that that's probably the way it's going to go, but that's not the way I would do it. I don't know. I'm not a businessman. You're
just a businessman. Good. That's a good line, eh?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I just made that up right now.
I don't think you did, but anyway. We'll see with the Becky Lynch thing, though. If they do turn her heel, I would be willing to give her the benefit of the doubt and see what she can do, because again, we've never seen it, so I have no idea what to expect.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm totally it's different, it's fresh. I'm kind of cool with it. It'll take some convincing for myself, but I'm just one person, so all the best to her.
But speaking of heels, SummerSlam is going to see one of the biggest double turns in WWE history.
What?
when the Miz and Daniel. No, I'm just joking.
You better be joking, man. I thought you were being serious for a second over there.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. I wouldn't say anything that crazy, but Miz and Daniel Bryan, dude, is this not living up to like what we thought it was gonna be? This feud, it's been building for 2 friggin' years. Actually, it's been building.
It's been building for 8 years.
Yeah.
This is original NXT.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome.
By the way, speaking of original NXT, Daniel Bryan and The Miz, whatever happened to Michael Cole in love with The Miz and hating Daniel Bryan? That doesn't happen anymore. Remember? Because that changed. No, that changed. The Miracle Kid, all that stuff. We know Miracle on Bourbon Street. That all changed, Cole. We all remember that, Cole.
I think we're all better off for that.
Us coal miners remember that, all right? I'm a coal miner for life.
Don't say coal miners.
Coal miner for life. Get me a cubicle. Get me one of those cubicles with the air holes.
The world was a very dark and gloomy place when Michael Cole was a heel.
That's very... Well, what's worse? Heel Michael Cole or robot Michael Cole? I still like Michael Cole. Kinda. He is a robot, though.
No, you don't.
He is a robot. No, he's a robot.
Yeah, no, he is. Maybe it's just better if he's not announcing. I don't know. I'll just throw that out there.
That's never gonna stop.
Anyway, but yeah, I don't want to talk about Miz and Bryan too much because we've been talking about it basically since we started the podcast. How much we want to see this feud play out and how we've just basically known it's gonna be awesome. And so far, it has been awesome. And they'll have a great match at SummerSlam. But
yeah,
we'll have more time to talk about it later.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing too is like we'll have. Yeah. We'll have more of an understanding as to what the real detailed direction they're going in once we get closer. A couple weeks. But yeah, I'm very excited for this feud. They had a little back and forth on SmackDown this past week.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Miz, hell yeah, you one of the best heels in the business. And Daniel Bryan is Daniel Bryan. So yeah, very excited for that match.
All right. And real quick, last thing I want to touch on quickly is... the tag team tournament on SmackDown has been progressing. It looks like... Well, it doesn't look like. The New Day beat Sanity and the Bar beat the Usos. So now we're seeing the Bar versus the New Day. Winner faces the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't know why it took me so long. I think it's the fact that every tag team has
these guys, and then these guys face these guys.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that every team has the at the beginning.
That's true.
That was kind of throwing me off. But yeah, so God damn it, not the Usos, the Bar versus the New Day. Winner faces the Bludgeon Brothers.
Cool.
I mean, I could do an entire segment on how stupid it is that Sanity lost to the New Day.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
I don't know what's going on there.
Nope.
I don't know. Do you have a pick for who's going to win next week? I feel like I don't even care about this. I should care.
I mean, it's tough. Okay, mainstream speaking, I'm going to go with the New Day because this is a mainstream pay-per-view. This is not for you fans. This is not for you regular fans. This is for the mainstream fans.
Yeah.
So the New Day are very popular outside the ring, and I think that's the direction they're going to go with. However, we also have seen that match before in some capacity. So,
well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. We've never seen just New Day versus Bludgeon Brothers, right? The only time it actually was with the Usos involved. So
yes.
It would be semi-fresh, and it would be the only face versus heel team we can possibly see now because the Bar is clearly heel and the Bludgeon Brothers are clearly heel.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the New Day, although I wouldn't be upset with the Bar because we don't see the Bar anymore. We don't see them anymore. I told you. I told you when they came to SmackDown they weren't gonna be, And look at this, all right? Gallows and Henderson weren't even in the tournament.
Yeah. But
what are you doing with your tag team division?
I was with you with that. Like I knew that they've just done a really bad job with the tag division in my opinion because they have so many good tag teams, and it's like it's not just that certain teams aren't getting on TV because I expected that to happen, but it's like the rivalries that are happening on TV I don't even care about.
No,
like the Bludgeon Brothers are so good, but I haven't cared about them basically since WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, it's easy, okay? Send Gallows and Anderson back to Raw, all right?
Yeah.
Keep the Bar on SmackDown, bold move the Usos to Raw. Okay? Maybe move Naomi over too if you want to keep, those three together. You send a face team over. You also send Gallows and Anderson over. They can play heel and face. Oh, who else? Who else is on Raw? Oh yeah, Finn Balor. That stuff was being teased, but maybe now it'll be even more prominent because Finn Balor can get into the world title scene and he can take over, and then Gallows and Anderson can win the tag belts or something. It works. I'm booking this stuff for you guys. Just listen to me.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, it won't happen.
I know. Anyway, well, we'll see who wins next week, and then we'll talk about that next week.
Yep.
Last thing I want to talk about, and there's still a lot of stuff that we didn't even touch on, so it's been really long, but last thing I want to talk about, Randy Orton has fully gone heel now. Last time we talked, it was like kind of implied that he was heel. Well, it was more than implied, but it wasn't official. He is clearly gone full-blown heel now. 3 weeks in a row, he has destroyed Jeff Hardy. He cut a promo last week about how it's the fans' fault that he's like this, and that he used to be the legend killer, but then the real legend killers are the fans.
Deep stuff.
So, clearly going against the crowd there. He's using some of the actual criticism he's gotten from fans, which I always love. And yeah, like I said, beat up Jeff 3 times in a row. Even helped Shinsuke beat up Jeff and then took over and just beat the crap out of Jeff this week. So Randy Orton back to being sadistic heel Orton. And yeah, this is the only Orton I'm interested in seeing, so I'm happy about it. I mean, I told you when they first had him come out and hit Jeff in the nuts at Extreme Rules, all I wanted was for this heel turn to make sense. I didn't want it to be like a random, Orton came out and attacked Jeff because he's a bad guy now. No, I want it to actually make sense, right? So it looks like that it does. I do like the way they're going with it. How he's. It's kind of like he's having. It's kind of like backlash for the real life heat that he's getting. It seems genuine, and it's like he's just going after Jeff because Jeff represents the high flyer and the kind of guy that the fans get behind, and the kind of guy that represents what Orton isn't, kind of, because Orton has been over with the crowd before, but he's never been like a high flyer guy like Jeff. That Jeff isn't the best on the mic, but the crowd still gets behind him, and he's just not Orton, right? You know what I mean?
Polar opposites.
They made it make sense, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy about that.
I was very surprised that they didn't make the feud about, I'm coming back angry at Jeff because he injured me, even though that's not actually what happened. Although Orton did have Orton had surgery, but that's what I figured was going to be the reason. But I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, thank God.
I like it. I didn't think it was going to work, to be honest, but it really was. After some promos and all that kind of stuff, very convinced. Some attacks, I'm very convinced. So this is the thing. The last couple of years, Randy Orton's kind of just been Randy Orton.
No, I'll say it right now. Orton's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but I have not been interested in anything he's done since he turned face again and drifted off from the Authority and fought Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Since then, I was kind of interested in the Bray Wyatt thing, and then immediately uninterested once I saw how the feud was going.
Exactly, right? He's kind of just been bland Orton. But now, SmackDown just magically got themselves another main event guy. If that makes sense. You have a guy who can legitimately, even though he's older and all that, you can put him back in the title picture and be like, oh, okay, cool, because it's Randy Orton, and he's actually being a heel now. It won't just be bland Randy Orton last time.
Let's not throw him in the title picture.
I'm not.
But no, but I see what you're saying. He's obviously one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and when he's at his best, which I think is when he's sadistic heel Orton, he's super interesting to watch. And the funny thing is with Orton, I think he's only 32. He just seems like
he's
really
38.
What?
Yeah.
He's 38. Because I remember in that match where the Survivor Series match, he was the youngest guy on his team or something. Because he's younger than Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
Who else was on that team?
Okay, well,
Shane.
Let's think about this. Shane McMahon is 40, almost 50.
Right.
Nakamura's 41 this year. Right. Bobby Roode's 41 this year.
Right.
Who was also on that team? Not AJ?
John Cena. John Cena.
Was he on SmackDown?
Yeah. No, he came back and fought for SmackDown.
Really? I thought he was on Raw.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. Okay, Cena.
100% certain of it.
Cena, 41 years old as well this year.
Really?
Orton was born in 1980. He became the youngest world champion, 24 years of age, in 2004. 14 years ago, 24 plus 14, 38, boom. So he's 38 years old. But he doesn't look like it.
That's what I was going to say. Is it like...
Kind of adds to your point.
Yeah.
You're
like,
welcome.
he doesn't... he's been around for so long that, like, you kind of think that he's, like, 45, right? Like, I think he's even younger than AJ, right?
AJ will also be 41 this year. A lot of 77s in the WWE.
How many people are turning 41?
How many people? Why did they just go to, like, hey, who's born in 1977? All of you guys? Yeah, come on.
Just all be wrestlers.
Yeah.
All of you.
Signing you right now.
Anyway, the WWE is a better place when Orton plays this kind of character. And for the first time in, like, 2 or 3 years, I'm actually interested to see where Orton goes and interested to see what feuds he gets into and what matches he gets into. I'm interested in Randy Orton again.
Me too, man. Hell yeah. Up top.
I'm very happy.
Honestly,
about that.
so happy. But yeah, it should be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how this feud's gonna play out. I assume they're gonna get a match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna have Shinsuke, if they're gonna have that a triple threat match.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
Because Jeff did talk about how his number one priority is getting the title back from Shinsuke, but he also has to beat up Orton, but Orton and Shinsuke work together, so we'll see in the coming weeks how it plays out. But it looks like a triple threat match for the U.S. title.
Yeah, I mean we already have 8 matches, so just combining that feud, sort of those feuds into one, would make sense. We're probably gonna get like 4 or 5, 7 other matches to add on to this card. That's how it usually works, right?
I think that's why we've seen so many triple threat matches at pay-per-views recently for titles, is just them trying to add as many people to the same match as possible because there's already so many matches and it's already going so long.
That's the WrestleMania mentality, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to watch SummerSlam until my eyes bleed.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, we went way over this week, as you'd expect. Because wrestling is cool and there's a lot of it, and you know what? It's a mixture of us being mad about certain things, the main event of SummerSlam, and us being really pumped about certain things like Rollins and Ziggler. So long podcast makes sense. But this was a great episode, Mike. You were amazing as always.
Well, I try.
Wow, nothing. You're not gonna say anything about me? I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
No, you were, you could be better.
Anyway, you could follow us at the Figure 4 Pod on Twitter. That's probably where you're getting all of our news updates and actually getting the links to our podcast. We're on YouTube, though, so, that's where you can find the episode that you're listening to, which probably means you're already on YouTube. So, congrats for doing that. But yeah, that's it for this episode. We'll see you next week on the Figure 4 Podcast.